So this is a film from the archives. The reason we've done this, we've been so many inquiries about what I used to do before, breaking horses all the time. Well, I always broke horses, but I used to do this as well. So if you just look now, this is quite interesting. We've got young horses at the front, a 3-year-old, i.e. by that I mean they've had their real third birthday. Yeah, and the wheelers are 4-year-olds. They're a little bit thicker in the leg than the leaders. But if you look at this cheeky rascal on the inside there, he's just pawing the ground. Yeah, and so is the wheeler, you know, when he thinks nobody's looking. But it amuses me that the lead horse there is not making any noise. So he's just lifting his foot and putting it down gently. So this is the funeral director in the tailcoat, you can see there. And I always feel sorry for him when the family want to load the coffin. So they should, if that's what they want to do. But it's obviously, it must be a stressful time that it is put into the hearse correctly. And obviously when he's working with his team, it's a lot easier to do that. So as you can see, the two young ones at the front, that's Gilbert and Sullivan, and then behind is Nobel and Majestic. So 4-year-olds at the back in the wheel and 3-year-olds there. So we're just moving off now. The funeral director will go. It's accepted. Well, obviously out of respect, you would walk away and you would walk in to the churchyard on arrival. But obviously you can trot between. You try and leave the edge of the town. We are actually on the edge of the town here. As you can see, it's got a roof seat there on the edge there, just between them lamps, if you can see. And my grooms will be there. It's a Marsden Hurst, a copy of an old Marsden Hurst, excellent thing. So that's it, you can see me funeral director up by the side. I'll make a signal to the car in front, which I've just done. He's there just to clear the way, really, just as a safety factor. And you see them come around here. You know, I know they were my horses, but I am quite proud of them because they're only 3-year-old at the front, and this is their very first commercial job. I'm not saying it's their first time on the public highway because obviously we trained them for it. But you can see all the traces tight. We're going up this incline, and everything is just nice. And they're moving as one horse. I mean, that's the thing. When you can only hear one horse going, I always think that's quite nice. It's a big achievement for these young horses. So we're just swinging out wide now, and as you can see, we'll come to a walk to come into the church. So as you can see here, I'm using brown reins. Well, that's not correct. You have black gloves for a funeral and black reins. Unfortunately, whilst we were getting ready, everything was done, the horses was all done, and the reins were there, and they were taken by somebody. But fortunately, the black reins were taken. Fortunately, in the spares kit, we had a single pair of, you know, a pair of reins and a team set, so we used them. But it always annoys me. You can see these horses here, these youngsters, how narrow they are. They're babies, and they've not really, you know, broadened out yet. They're just, but they've done extremely well on this job. And you can see the modesty cloths they're wearing. I'll explain to you about those. They're called modesty cloths because you keep stallions is the norm. I'm not saying in every single case, but back in the day there was always stallions because they keep their colour. If you castrate a Friesian, often they'll lose their colour. Sometimes mares are not as dark as the stallions. So that's why it's done. Well, obviously if they're stallions, they might drop themselves out, just get a sniff of a mare on the breeze, you know, on the air, and they might drop themselves out. Well, back in the day, you know, Victorian times, etc., that's why they covered them now. It's only on one side of the horse, just hangs down the outside, obviously because nothing can be seen on the inside, really. The other thing to mention, and this is not a criticism of anybody, but if they're not fitted right, they were, you know, fitted correctly onto the horse. So if you look at them, they don't hang down or pull the harness out of line. So straight away down the spine, it's dead straight all the way from the pad down to the crouper, and you know they look nice when you're going up the road. Yeah. So yeah, they look quite nice with them, and obviously they do them in different colours these days. But there was 90% of them was always black before, either with gold or silver trim. Anyway, but these bits here, what we've done to keep them looking traditional, what we've done is taken the bits apart. A friend of mine done it for me. He's got an engineering factory, and we put them on he put them on a lathe, take them down the actual bit itself, and then there's a rubber hose pipe you can get, which is very soft, and we heat it, or they did, it's nothing to do with it really, heat it and pulled it over. So what they've got in their actual mouth is a soft rubber bit. The only difference between the ones we use all the time is obviously they've got a solid core in the middle, because there's no other way of doing it. But they do look more traditional and look right for the job, like that. So yeah, nice little babies, really, learning their job. Let's just look here now. This is quite interesting. So I'm coming up here, I've got to make a turn. If you look now, you'll just see two lads there in a minute in the background. Can you see them there in the green? So they've got one of them little tipper things. I don't know what they call them. I don't know. In America they call them an alligator. So what I've got to do is come around here, and I've got to do a little bit of manoeuvring. You can see the wheeler there just holding it for me, and get round so I can get myself straight to come out on the road straight. You can see they're quite light, and you see them 2 years later, they're different horses. So we're just coming up to the road here. This is very interesting. Just watch. So you see that's highly dangerous. So what had happened there, we're just going to wind the film back for you. What had happened there, all the cars had stopped to let me out, and then a car overtook all the parked cars and come right under their heads, look. You can see by the colour of where his tyres are, he's only just over and you can see by the colour of tarmac how much they was on the road when that happened. But for young baby horses, that's their first commercial job, really well. There's something else here that's interesting to watch. You see this horse here? He's not getting the message quite correctly, and he wanted to step on the grass, so I had to take him out of draft. So we'll run that again, so just watch here. So he's not quite sure what I want him to do. So he goes to step up, so I'll take him out of draft, and see me wheelers. Their bit of experience comes in. Straight away they picked up, because you had quite a camber on the road there. You can see as they left, so the vehicle's almost still, stationary virtually, and they've straight away, without being asked or anything at all, they picked it up straight away. But just to see them going up there like that, well, they sound like one horse, so that's what I'm trying to do, is to get them in perfect time trotting.